Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Card Strategy Show, episode 68. It's February 6th. I'm Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com, and I've got my main man, Kendall Lefty McKee, out there in Kentucky, looking strong, representing Wild Cards Box Breaks, no off-season, justbaseball.com. Lefty, what's up with you, man? How's everything going?
It's good, man. It was a fun weekend. We had a fun break last night that I'll talk about in a little bit. And man, I shout out to my cousin who lives in Turkey. She's safe from the earthquake last night, or whenever it happened while I was asleep. So
wow, good that she's safe. We hope all of you are safe. We hope all of you and your loved ones are safe, and we appreciate you, Sports Card Strategy Show audience. We've been getting a lot of love from you. I appreciate it. Some of it has to do with the free premium for a year. Email me at paul@nooffseason.com to find out how to get a free year premium at nooffseason.com. It's the Sports Card Investment Report, where you can get the full write-ups and data and the play, when to buy, when to sell, all of our different athletes at nooffseason.com. Some of you have emailed in about that. A lot of you have emailed in and hit us up on social media about the podcast, about the Sports Card Strategy Show. Kendall and I are in season 2 right now. Like I mentioned, this is episode 68, and we're just starting. Our graph is just starting to go up and to the right after about a year. So we hope your sports card graphs are going up and to the right. That's why we're helping you. That's why we're here, to try to help you make money on sports cards, and we're building a community, so we appreciate everybody in the audience. So there's a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of good stuff. Kendall and I were just talking off the air about how this is going to be a fun, happy show, and I say we just get right into it, because there's a lot to cover on this Monday morning, episode 68. So I'm going to jump into my L of the week. And it's a guy that we've talked a lot about on the Sports Card Strategy Show, on the F1 Card Strategy Show, and at nooffseason.com in general. I bought an Oscar Piastri raw refractor auto out of it's like $4.99 or $4.91. Sometimes the F1, I want to say $4.91. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, his refractor auto out of Topps Chrome 2021, and great card. Sent it into PSA. I bought it for like $960. This was back in like March, basically right after they first came out. So it's kind of a bad move on my. The L is that I think I bought it at the wrong time. The other L is I sent it into PSA without looking at it, because that's back when I was vaulting everything when I was in Spain. So I couldn't really look at it. So I sent it from my vault, like eBay to vault, vault to PSA, PSA back to vault, got an 8. So it's been sitting there at about a value of $300, and I just sold it at $300. So it's a big L. It's probably my biggest L, honestly, that I've taken. I may have taken one other L that size since I've been flipping sports cards, but that's probably my biggest L. And I don't want to sweep these things under the rug. We've had audience members email in and say how much they appreciate the L of the week, just because it reminds everybody that you're not going to bat 1,000 on this stuff. You're going to take L's, and a lot of times, I think a lot of times the L's can be what really turns you into a great sports card investor and a great sports card flipper, because you learn from that. And so, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't really think this card was going to get back up over $1,000 after it got an 8. I think had it gotten a 10, for sure, I would have made money on it. And so a lot of times I reflect on these L's that I take, and I think it does have to do with the grade. A lot of times, I think more than the grade, it has to do with the timing of when you buy. and I bought at a bad time. I think I could have had a PSA 10 of this card for about that price at one point in the fall. And I knew that. And so that's when Kendall and I started talking about in the fall. We were like, now is the time to buy Oscar. And one of the reasons why I'm so dialed in on that is because I was doing that. And I think Kendall's dialed in on baseball and soccer because that's what he's doing. And that's why we're here. So anyway, that's my L of the week. Over to you, Lefty.
Well, let me ask you this. Like, why did you choose to sell it at this point, knowing that the F1 season is probably about to kick off and you could have just walk me through that process, I guess. You know, like if he could have, like, you know, he's new to McLaren, he's new to F1, he's new to I mean, this is rookie season. I mean, he could have come out and, you know, and placed or something.
I'm really glad you asked that. And that was a tough call. I think my original plan was to hold it until the F1 season started. I think talking to Rob Masora from Bob's Card Market, bobscardmarket.com. They've got a great Discord channel if you guys want to join. Kendall and I are there as well. He told me about this like reverse auction, Dutch auction way that he sells his cards. Mm-hmm. And he told me that he's started to sell Oscar now because he started to see some hype already. It's February, so it's not that far off from when, I mean, we know, okay, good point. Like it can be a week can make a huge difference. You know, we know that a day can make a huge difference. A month can make a massive difference. So I probably did sell early, but I think the main reason why I sold is because I started to do a lot of research on these Oscar cards, and I started to research how many of them are out there, how many of them have higher grades, how many of them in this grade have sold, and what have they sold for? And when my research yielded that there are so many lower serial numbered autos of his in higher grades in a similar price point listed to what I wanted to try to get for mine, that my analysis just sort of yielded that there was actually more downside in holding an 8. It really ended up having to do with the grade. Like, so the L I think was buying at the wrong time and then unfortunately getting a bad grade, like a bad assessment on my part on what that card could have graded for. But then I think the reason to sell was actually like more mitigating the risk of this card going down further, because there's like a green like, for example, I could have gone out and bought a green refractor auto at a 99 PSA 10 for like $600 or $700 more than mine. And while that is like 3x mine, it's actually like $600 or $700 is not a whole ton of money when it comes to assessing like the potential downside of my card. I think actually outweighed what I could have actually sold that for. Now you could argue, okay, if Oscar comes out and wins a bunch of races, which I don't think is likely.
No, he's not gonna come out and just destroy Max. Yeah, you know, like he's just not gonna be able to do that.
Now, so the other reason I decided to sell that card is because I'm actually holding, and this plays a role in I think how we all maneuver on our own in a vacuum. Is the card sales in a vacuum, and actually I said that the wrong way. The rest of my collection, I have like 5 other Oscars, and they're not autos, but they are like serial numbered PSA 10s. So like my thought is I can offload this 8, even though it's an auto, it's probably not going to do as well as I want it to. And I can hold these 10s. And that can be my upside with Oscar. So that was it wasn't like a dump Oscar. It was like, I think I need to figure out what to do with this card. Mm-hmm. And it is to get $300. That's the other thing too, I think is like, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Because I know Kendall has a thought on this too. And I definitely want to get your thought too, Lefty, but I want to know from the audience, like when you have a chance to get $300, for example, in my scenario, even though you're taking an L of like $600 or $700 at the end of the day with that card, it is almost a year later, and you do have a chance to get $300. And in the meantime, you've bought a bunch of other stuff. And so that $300 can kind of replenish the other stuff that you've bought or put you in a position to maybe buy something else. So that always factors into my decision making, is like, when I decide to take an L that large, it's usually because I'm also getting pretty significant amount of money back. And maybe still have some upside within that particular player. So anyway, I'll stop there, but it's a great question that Lefty had. So that was my L of the week. Looks like we lost Lefty. I don't know if he accidentally left the feed, and he's back. So here we go. So I was going to go into my W if Lefty had technical difficulties, but he's back. So anyway, I was just wrapping up my sports card strategy on that Oscar Piastri L. Part of it, I don't think I could have any. The part of it, I don't think I had anything to do with. And then I would say 49%, I'd say 51% is on me on that L for buying at the right time, not kind of selling it in an 8. You know, we talk about also the strategy of, it's in my vault. Could I have shipped it to myself, cracked it, and sold it raw and gotten more money? You know, we talked about that too. So was I a little bit impatient on this? Probably. We talked about me doing that with some Gio Reyna cards and some other soccer cards where I just kind of, and Malik Tillman, right? Where I'm just kind of getting rid of the guy. It's not that I don't believe in Oscar. It's that I have a bunch of other Oscars. This one I felt like I could get $300 for. Maybe there was more downside than upside in that particular card. And so I decided to pull trigger on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a horrible decision. I just wanted you to talk through, you know, potentially why. And I love the point you're making about the money that you wanted to make. There are others listed in lower pop counts and higher quality. I mean, it's just like, okay, cool. Like, my card is just not going to make it to that price. Take the L, you know, the L of the week. And so I think that's understandable. I just wanted you to walk through your thought process for me and the audience on, you know, I think that's the number one thing that I get asked all the time is, hey, well, I get asked 2 questions by our audience members. One is like, are there guys that you're seeing that are worth investing in the lower echelon that you think are deserving to be in the higher echelon? And then the other question is, when is the right time to sell? Like I think that is, everybody is, it's trying to hit that peak, right? And it's like a game that you play, and it's a game that we play, and it's a game that we don't, you know, we're not saying that we know exactly what timing is, you know. It's just like, it's a game we play with this whole thing. And so I think when you walk through that mentality and that work process, it opens up windows to learn from. So that's kind of where I was going with that.
I'm glad you asked. And for me, as I've talked about the premium pod, which you can go to premium.sportscardstrategy.com and you can upgrade on Spotify for $9.99 a month and get some premium podcast content, or you can do it on YouTube. Just join the channel. Just click the join button on the YouTube video, and it's the same price, $9.99 a month. And I'm putting this similar, pretty much the same content for everybody. I don't want you to have to feel obligated to join everywhere, but the premium pod basically will walk through exactly the moves that I've done over the last couple of years and how they've played out. And I'm interested. I'm really excited to start to release those episodes, because what I've learned is that I'm getting better and better as time goes. Like it's like anything else. The more reps you take, the better you get at something. And sports card investing is no different. So I look back at 2021 and I look at the moves that I made, and I'm like getting crushed most of the time. And then I look at 2022 and I'm like, okay, I'm bad. Like, my batting average is way better. And then I'm looking at 2023 it's like how they talk about a quarterback going through his reads, his progressions. Like, the game slows down for him as he gains more experience. And what they mean by the slowing down is like it he can go through his actually what they mean is like he can go through his progressions faster. So I feel like the game is slowing down for me in that I'm actually going through progressions. Whereas like in 2021, I was just like the pass rush would come and I'd just throw the ball. So I'd just buy a card. I like, oh, that card looks good, buy the card. And then I would learn later like why that was a good or a bad move. And then 2022 was like, okay, I've got a different thesis. Let me test out the different thesis. And now 2023 is like, look, I'm going through my progressions. And the reason I say this is because the Oscar L that I just walked everybody through is an example of a progression that I'm now going through before buying the card. So I'm like, just because this is a guy that I like, just because this is a decently priced refractor auto, doesn't mean that this is the time or the price point or the actual card that I should be spending this money on right now. And so anyway, the premium pod's going to get into that more. So check that out if you guys want, premium.sportscardstrategy.com, or join the YouTube channel. But yeah, it's like Kendall's kind of unpacking a little bit more about this particular L, which I think is a good thing to do. Sometimes L of the week, we just talk about, oh, you know, so-and-so got injured or got traded or this or that. Well, this is like a little bit heavier one where I lost $700, and I'm talking about why I made the decision to sell and I could have held longer and all that stuff. So yeah, that's good stuff. I appreciate the follow-up question.
I mean, when we're making, you know, $10, $15 margins on some of our wins, you know, it's a $700 loss is just like, frick, you know, it can be so hard to like catch back up to that, you know, and so I think it's just the humanness of it. And I love the analogy of like, you know, our different seasons, you know, our rookie season, you know, that kind of thing, you know, and we're just the pressure and we're just getting out of the pocket and just tossing it, you know, and not realizing reading coverages and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think like, I would fall into that same boat. I think my first year, I was just like, and this was like, I guess my first investing year, let's just put it that way. I was just like, okay, I'm going to send anything into a grader, and that's just gonna make me rich, you know, like, which is not true.
Right.
But you know, like, since like last week I talked about my submission since July, and it came back, and I'm going to talk more about it. But you know, like, I've just learned that I'm getting better at my analysis, you know, like that's kind of the and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I guess my L of the week, you want to go to that, is my L of the week is related as well. In that PSA submission, you know, like obviously I had one card that is not my nicest card by any means, not my, you know, it was a card that at the time when I bought it, it was one of the bigger purchases that I had made, especially because it's not in the sport that I typically invest in. But I bought a 2008 Topps Kobe Bryant card, maybe about a year and a half ago, like for like $100 ish. And I was like, man, it's a great deal. And it's the one where him and LeBron are guarding each other.
It's classic.
Like this card. So I loved this card. It's like an iconic card for me. It's 2008 Topps. This one is not the chrome version. It's just a paper version. But I love this card because I love Kobe, and I actually am a huge fan of LeBron as well. We've talked about that a lot on this show. And so this card was stuck in that 20 card submission. And then I'm watching LeBron come up to his, you know, to his marker here of passing Kareem. And I was just like, crap, I'm not going to have this back. You know, like, not that I wanted to sell it or anything. I just wanted to have it while that was going on. It's my really only LeBron card. I have one other Kobe card. And I get it back, and it's an 8. And so, you know, like, it's worth basically exactly what I paid for it raw right now, which is fine. And I probably will list it when like right before. I'll probably list it later today because of everything that's probably going to happen for LeBron this week.
Yep.
And I'll see if I can maybe make some coin on it and then flip it to try to potentially get a chrome one in the future. But I think this is my L because I wanted this to just be I wanted this. This is a grail card for me. Yeah, I wanted the Jimmy, like I bought it, it's something for me. And then my other L, which is kind of not really an L, but it's it's an L, but like not one that I'm really sad about, is my only Tom Brady that I had as a kid. I think I've talked about this, but I got this Tom Brady Sports Illustrated for Kids card out of my Sports Illustrated for Kids magazine in 2001 or whatever. And I've had it my whole life. And I finally sent it to the grader and it got a PSA 3, which I knew it was going to be a weird card to grade because it's got rivets because like it was on a tear out sheet. And I was like, I don't even know. The only reason I knew that they did this is there's others that I've seen of this card that have been graded. Otherwise I wouldn't have sent it in because I wouldn't have thought it was an officially licensed card. But it's a funny little card with Tom Brady, but it's his second year card. But it's one that I pulled. It's one that I've had since forever. So it's an L because it got a 3, but it's also a win for me because I'll hold on to this card forever. Probably. I probably won't ever sell this card because it's sentimental for me. And I don't have very many sentimental cards, but this one's sentimental for me. And I also realized the pop count on this card is really low.
That's cool.
So I have a 3. There are 4 other 3s, and there are 57 higher than 3.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Sports Illustrated for Kids cards are notoriously hard to grade. There's like the Tiger Woods rookie that we talked about on the Golf Card Strategy show with Mike LaCusta a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there's other, other athletes that have I'm sure there's like Tony Hawk and all kinds of I
have a Landon Donovan rookie card that's on Sports Illustrated.
Yeah. But that's cool. That's a sweet Brady card, second year. Nice nostalgia for us there, Kendall. And let us know in the comments or tweet at us at No Offseason Card or at Lefty McKee if you've got a card like that, like Kendall's. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I also have a Michael Schumacher card that's in the Sports Illustrated for Kids. It's him driving his red Ferrari, and that one's just freaking awesome. So, but I'll probably submit that one too. But
cool, man. Well, hey, I got a couple other sort of L of the week and W of the week related notes here, and I want to talk. I actually wasn't going to talk about this on the show, but I think it's a cool left turn here. And that is I've been able to do a bunch of stuff living in the United States now that I wasn't able to do before from a sports card strategy standpoint. And one of them is to like buy a hobby box of cards that just came out and then rip it and immediately list it on eBay. And I think I talked about this in last week's show a little bit, but I have some results from it now. And it's actually less of an L than I thought it would be. So I think I talked about how I ripped a box of NBA Hoops 2022-23, and the auto was Dalen Terry out of 25. I can't remember if I mentioned that on last week's show or not, but Dalen Terry was the 18th overall pick, and he's on the bench for the Chicago Bulls, and is a nice looking card. But I'm shipping it today. It sold for $42. So I'm shipping it out today. Thank you to the buyer. And I'm including a bunch of extra cards in there just because I've talked about that on the show too. How I've got a bunch of cards sitting around and I'm looking to just, make somebody's day by giving them some free cards. So the buyer of the Dalen Terry card's getting that. And then there was also a Dyson Daniels artist press proof out of 25 rookie in that box of NBA hoops. And that sold for about $20. So I'm shipping that one out today. So it started to dawn on me. I knew this could happen. It started to dawn on me that the $115 box of NBA hoops, even though the auto wasn't what I wanted, and even though there weren't really any like other cards in it that I wanted, when I was able to piece together all of the cards that are sellable from that, desirable for somebody, I'm not looking at as big of a loss as I thought, because just with those 2 cards, I've paid for more than half of the price of the box. So that's not doable with every hobby box, as we know, because some are like way more than $115. But I'm thinking of maybe doing that with upcoming Don Russ basketball. I'm thinking of maybe like saying, because I'm not totally risk averse with this stuff. Like, as you've heard a minute ago, I'm willing to lose $700 on an Oscar Piastri card. So like, as long as it's not going to totally break the bank for me, I'm willing to try to take the upside of $1,000 win on hitting a huge auto versus maybe a few $100 loss on the other side of that, piecing everything together, making up for not getting the big auto. So I don't know how often, I mean, I'm sure as a breaker, Kendall, you're like very familiar with how that works and like what the odds are and all that. And I just haven't had a chance to do it that often. So I'm thinking of, at first I was very disappointed in the NBA hoops box. And now that I've sold a couple of the cards, I'm like, well, okay, that's not as bad as I thought. So
I think this happens pretty commonly. Like, you don't swing, you swing for the fences and it doesn't necessarily you don't hit a home run, but if you can nail 5 or 6 singles out or doubles out of that and piece that together to just break even, I think that's a really fun place to be at, especially because when you do break even and then you have all the bulk and stuff, you can do things. This is from my thought process. When I break even, for instance, I recently broke even on a box of Chrome Bundesliga, Topps Chrome Bundesliga hobby box. It was like $60 or something like that when it first came out. Now it's real cheap. But when it first came out, bought it $60. I was looking for a Gio Auto or a Brendan Aronson or something like that, or maybe Jude Bellingham, something like that. I ended up getting a guy I've never heard of. Ended up selling his auto for like $25, but then I sold some of the other ones for $4, $5, $6, covered it all the way to 60, and now I have a bunch of Chrome soccer cards that I can give away when Halloween comes around. I can potentially do whatever the heck I want with it. I can use them for card art and feel like I'm completely free to do that stuff with that. My conscience is free that I've broken even on cases like that. And of course, as a breaker, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Is you're trying to figure out a win-loss ratio. And honestly, the win is way more common than the loss. But that win never really looks like a Jackson Holiday out of 5. Like it just, we've been breaking for a long time. I've never pulled a superfractor, so it's like that stuff is few and far between, but you can piece together a beautiful, storyline when it comes to buying a car, like a box like that.
Definitely. Chad Gill, good morning to you as well. He says he did that with 2 Bowman draft hobby boxes, sent in all of the Bowman first to PSA. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I've got a bunch of Bowman firsts from 2022 that I haven't sent in, that I'm just kind of including in other shipments out to people, just because the Chrome is nice to hold a Chrome card in your hand, and they're just good looking cards. So not always worth something, but definitely in this context, you got to try to do something with them. So Ryan Borusky, thanks for joining the show, my man. Ryan and I have been chatting via email, and I appreciate that. Ryan's a good audience member, and he says Gary from Hoops and Cards would have your neck for buying that hoops box. Yeah,
sure.
He would. And it was sometimes, this is sports card strategy. This is all about flipping and making money. But sometimes, you realize this is a hobby, and we do have the luxury in this hobby of using this as entertainment value as well. And so my thought was, hey, I've never had a chance to do this before because of timing issues and logistics issues. I'm going to try. Other people do it. I'm going to try it and see what it feels like and see what the experience is like. And sometimes I do, I'll be honest, guys, like I do a lot of stuff sometimes to create content for this show, because again, it's about getting the reps in to be a better not only sports card investor, but content creator. And I'm not trying to be Pac-Man, I'm not going to do that kind of stuff, but I will try some strategies so that I actually have the experience trying them and not just being like, then I can either validate what I thought, or I can say, you know what, I think maybe I was missing something here. So, but you're right. Like, I know you're just joking around, Ryan. And I think, yeah, and you're right. It is timing, getting rid of them early. And that's exactly right. I thought, look, this is what I'm going to do. This is the strategy. I'm buying this box, but I'm getting rid of everything right away because it's not going to be relevant, like literally in a few weeks when Don Russ comes out. So anyway, moving along in the show here, win of the week. I got a good win of the week. And this is like, along the same ilk as the Oscar Piastri, but just went my way instead of the other way. On the show a while back, I talked about Topps Chrome Overtime Elite cards. And this probably would have been
like a year ago. Yeah.
About a year ago. It was a while ago. And I sold my Asar Thompson gold out of 50 Topps Chrome Overtime Elite Ray Wave Refractor Auto and PSA 10. It got a PSA 10. So the story behind this card is I bought the card and here we go. I'm bringing this up on the screen. Sorry, this is why I'm like stumbling over this. I bought the card for $175 last March. And it was a risk because my thought was Topps Chrome Overtime Elite, because it's Topps Chrome and because this particular card is a Ray Wave Refractor out of 50 auto, on card auto. Asar Thompson at the time was a projected top 5 overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft. So I specifically bought this card with the rationale of I'm going to buy it and I'm going to flip it during the 2023 NBA draft hype cycle, which is going to be like May, June, right? And now his twin brother, Amen Thompson, is also in the Overtime Elite League. And I also bought an Amen Thompson of the exact same card. Had them both graded at PSA. And Asar got a 10 and Amen got a 9. Now, why did I sell this card right now? Partially because, again, shout out to Rob Masora from Bob's Card Market for his Dutch auction way that he sells cards on eBay. And again, for those of you who missed last week's episode, basically what he does is lists them higher and then lowers the price accordingly down to what is probably a more reasonable price. And he takes offers. So I did that with this Asar. And the reason why is because where a year ago, Asar was a projected top 5 pick. Now Amen is the projected top 5 pick. And you don't hear anything about Asar. And I don't really know why, because I don't follow the Overtime Elite League. I just follow like the NBA draft projections, right? So I'm thinking, you know what? I should probably offload this one. It's got some desirable qualities, obviously, as you can see. PSA 10, on card auto, out of 50, like Ray Wave Refractor Gold, all this stuff. So I listed it for $650, which is way too high, but accepted an offer for $250. So all in, I was $200 into this card. $175 for the card, $15 for the grading, got a PSA 10, made $50, probably a little bit less than that after taxes and fees, of course, but profited from this card. And so it's a win of the week because not only because I was able to profit on it, but because I was able to profit on a card that I was probably going to end up being wrong about. And in terms of being able to flip this during the draft process. So this was more of a reflection on, I think I'm wrong about the guy, but it's a desirable card and it's a PSA 10. Let me try to get what I can for it now. And then ending up profiting off of it. So, and this is a year 2 getting by the seat of my pants, because this is a risk. Like I probably wouldn't go this deep now. Like you've heard me talk about Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Maxey, Cade Cunningham, and Giannis. Like those are the guys that I've been acquiring. Like a year ago, I was like playing around getting Oscar Thompson. Like this year, I'm not really doing that kind of stuff, but this ended up being a win for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I the overtime elite stuff is just so fickle, I think. Like, and there's a great chance that both Thompson brothers could be something, and there's a great chance that they could both be nothing. So it's like that's prospecting, baby. Like that's what it is.
Yeah,
that happens with Bowman stuff all the time, right? Like for instance, I really love a couple guys, but there's a legit chance that none of them could make it.
yeah.
And with prospecting specifically, you're selling on that hype cycle, and that's okay. As long as you know that that's going to happen, it's fine if you come in there with clear eyes. But
clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose,
baby. Come on, got my
yeah. You're right.
Texas
This is prospecting. This is the This was like the basketball version of the Bowman Chrome first auto situation. Yeah. And you know what's kind of cool about it when you think about it is like the fact that this card actually sold for $250. Like that's a good sign for the card market. We get a lot of people, right, who create these videos, a lot of content creators who create these videos about like these shocking headlines about the sports card market. And I've gone on a rant on this show before about this, so I'm not going to do it again. You guys can go back into the backlog and find my rant, but it's like, there is no sports card market. It's like, there's stuff like this. There's the niche Oscar Thompsons, and there's the niche Oscar Piastris, and there's the Cam Thomases, which we'll talk about here in a second. You guys are probably wondering why it's taken us 37 minutes into the episode for me to mention Cam Thomas, but I've been kind of waiting. Anyway, Kendall, back over to you for your win.
Win of the week is, last week I talked about not being able to sell any cards. A lot of you guys reached out to me to talk about some of the purchases. I really appreciate that. I know I had the stuff that I'm trying to move that I wasn't being able to sell is not stuff like my Indy out of 5. I know that I've put that up and I can sell it right now. I'm trying to move stuff that's in that $5-10 range from the Oscar Thompson type moves that I was trying to make last year that I have all this backlog of. Like this whole stack right here, is just Bowman stuff I'm trying to move that's in between $5 and $10, $15, $20. But it's just stuff that I can move, and if I legit could sell potentially all of them for $5 a piece, then I could swing it into what I did this week. So I got a Mason Hour auto out of 150. It is beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. Did I send a picture of it to you, Paul?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen then because it's just a stunning card. I think it looks great. Let's see. Present. Share screen. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So this is the card that I bought this week for 113. Nice. Just a stunning looking card. True blue with a mojo, with the blue auto as a team color. I think this card is just stunningly pretty. It does have apparently a soft corner. I'm okay with it. I think sometimes you buy cards knowing you're not going to grade them. This is kind of one of those things for me. But, winning an auction at 113 for an out of 150 Bowman auto for a guy that I think has a lot of potential, and we've talked about a lot at Just Baseball in our group chats. And honestly, the right corner doesn't look as soft as they're saying. So, who knows? But I think this guy is really fun for me to dream on. Plus, this card, I got some eBay gift cards for Christmas, which was the first time I've done that. I asked my family, if you're going to get me anything, get me a couple eBay gift cards, $25-30, not that big of a deal. Ended up being able to pair all my gift cards together and paid 60 cents for this card.
That's amazing.
What a win.
Kendall, this is like such a jam-packed win of the week. Like I need to unpack all this for the audience because it's brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations. This is an amazing looking card. You love the player, so that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It checks all the boxes in terms of like out of 150, like there's kind of a little color match, like on card auto. The eBay gift card is one thing that I think is brilliant to ask for. Phenomenal. For all of you, for anyone listening to this show or watching this show, we all qualify. We should all be asking for eBay gift cards. That's what we should be asking for. The other thing is props to the seller, right? Like I want to give the seller props here. I don't know this person and I can't, it's not, is it best mommy ever? Best mommy ever 0204. Okay. Phenomenal job because first of all, great pictures, right? Like when you hovered over the picture, like you can see the card, you know, this is outside of any penny sleeve or anything. And it's on a display and it's great photographs. And assuming this is the actual card that you get shipped, I love this seller. The other thing is the description, soft right corner. I mean, you paid the fair price for this card in an auction because of this seller. I mean, great. There's so many things I love about the way that this card was listed, from the photo to the headline, everything. You know, great job. Love this one.
Yeah. I mean, even in the bottom, she tells you exactly what it is. Soft right corner, you know, so I'm excited. I don't care if it's a soft right corner. Love the blue. I think it looks amazing. I think he's going to be a good prospect. I think he's going to get a lot of hype over this next year. And so not a guy that I'm like super, you know, go all in, blah, you know.
Like I was with Cam Thomas.
Yeah. But Cam Thomas, dude, he had a week, my friend.
That's what we're about to talk about.
Yeah. I could not wait to talk to you about this. Everybody's like, oh, the Kyrie news, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, screw Kyrie. This is Cam Thomas news.
Cam Thomas, and everybody knows. Everybody in the audience knows all about that, right? Good morning, RPO. And RPO loves the card, Kendall. Good work.
Thanks, RPO. I love talking to you when you reach out, man. Thanks for that.
All right, so getting to my buy of the week. This is where we're going to talk a little bit about my guy, Cam Thomas. Most of you probably thought I was going to come in strong with a Cam Thomas buy of the week. And he's not my buy of the week. And I think you guys probably know why. Because I've been talking about buying Cam Thomas since, like, what? April or May? I don't know. I'd have to go back and double check myself on that. But whenever the Contenders rookie ticket autos came out last year, Cam Thomas's prices were dirt cheap, and they've been going down until now. So you could buy Cam Thomas if you want now, because I still think he's on an upward trajectory. But you know, I just got to pat myself on the back. Now, the other funny thing is literally like, if you go back to our January 2nd episode this year, so just a few weeks ago, I believe, if I remember correctly, that I said that Cam Thomas was one of my L's of the year. But I think I threw in the caveat that I'm probably not wrong yet. It just hadn't material, because I did we were right about, we were wrong about, right? And I think I had Cam Thomas under the we were wrong about, but it was basically for now, because just wait. And so here we go. First of all, you see Cam Thomas start to put up some points. January 30th against the Lakers, 21 points in 23 minutes. This guy is just a scoring machine. Then February 1st at the Celtics, 19 points in 24 minutes. And then February 4th against the Wizards. Here it is. 44 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 29 minutes. That was all done in 29 minutes. I wrote an article for Sports Card Investor on top of all of my talk on the Basketball Card Strategy Show, the Hoops and Cards Show, the Sports Card Strategy Show, Cam Thomas, next Tyrese Maxey. Cam Thomas. I was all over this. This is happening now, people. This is happening. I hope you bought Cam Thomas when I told you to buy Cam Thomas. Search for Cameron, because that's the way his name is spelled on his card. Make sure you search for Cameron Thomas as you're buying Cam Thomas. And now Kyrie Irving's gone. So here's what I want to caution everybody about. Kyrie Irving's gone. He's in Dallas. I would agree with Kendall that Cam Thomas is the guy we're supposed to be talking about right now, and not Kyrie Irving, and not Luka Doncic. So I would say there's probably a little bit more of a buying window with Cam Thomas, because you might see Spencer Dinwiddie come back to Brooklyn and actually eat into some of Cam Thomas's minutes for a while. But this guy from LSU is going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. And I think they're going to continue to blow it up in Brooklyn, and they could just rebuild around Cam Thomas. So I would say if you want to buy him. His card value is probably going to continue to go up. But if you bought him at like $6 for a Contenders rookie ticket auto, like I told you to, and you want to sell him now, I got an offer for $85 on my PSA 8 Cam Thomas rookie. And PSA 8's going to sell probably for less than raw. So 85, you could probably, I'm not saying you can sell your raw for $85 right now, but probably pretty close, based on his 44-point performance and the arrow looking up with Kyrie out of town. So, anyway, so during all of this, Ryan Fugger has said, "Let's go, Cam Thomas." We've also heard from Southern Soccer Idiot and Frankie Goodman. What's up, guys? Great to see all of you on the show. But my buy of the week after all of this is going to seem really odd. It's Kylian Mbappe. And it's Kylian Mbappe because
what a bait and switch.
Because everyone's talking about Cam Thomas, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Gary from Hoops and Cards. Shout out. He had a great email newsletter to his Hoops Plus subscribers over the weekend about how now is not the time, like that we are now not anymore in basketball card buying season. Like basketball card buying season is over now, because in 2 weeks, there's all this hype, trade deadline in the news, hype around the all-star teams being announced. Then there's going to be more hype around all-star weekend. It's actually going to be basketball card selling season, mini selling season over the next month. So now you've got a situation where if you're looking to buy, I was actually going to have a nothing for buy of the week. And then I was like, wait a minute, there can't be nothing. We always go where they ain't, right? And right now it's time to go to Kylian Mbappe, because you've had 2 months since the World Cup, give or take a couple weeks. And in the last 2 months, his price is down 3%. And you don't really see, we haven't seen Mbappe's prices go down. We've seen him basically stay the same for a while. And so you've got a bunch of cards, like if you want to go big, you've got a Don Russ 2021 Kaboom PSA 10 that you can go big on, that's down 42%. If you want to just kind of go in a safer pocket or lower pocket, you've got the 2020 Topps Chrome Champions League Refractor PSA 10 down 41%. So now is the time, I think, actually, where we talked about my L of the week. How do we learn from my L of the week? I bought Oscar Piastri at the wrong time. Is no question I've been right about Oscar Piastri in general as a driver. Like he's gained momentum, gained hype. His market has grown. I just bought the card at the wrong time. Mbappe is not going to go anywhere, but it's going to be hard to make money on him because everybody loves him. So now's the time to buy him. So my buy of the week is Kylian Mbappe. Big time U-turn on that one. We call it a Michigan left for those of you who are familiar with driving in Michigan. I just pulled a Michigan left on you where I was talking about Cam Thomas. Buy of the week, Kylian Mbappe. There it is.
He moved Kyrie out of his apartment earlier that day. That's hilarious.
Is that for real? Cam Thomas moved Kyrie
I hope
out of his
that's
apartment
real.
earlier that day. That's
He moved.
awesome.
Another thing, I mean, I'm just gonna. I love the Mbappe buy. Honestly, 40-something% down on a guy who's literally, I think he's 23 or 4, and he's already one of the best that's currently playing. I'm not gonna add him into the GOAT conversation yet, but he's at least be able to consider it a superstar already. The thing about Cam Thomas, oh man, I'm so excited for him to be unleashed at Brooklyn. But he is going to have some horrific nights probably. I think perfect storm for him this week. Kyrie moving, perfect for him. Kevin Durant's out, perfect. You know, they had just a world of injuries. Him and Claxton were like the only Nets out there, you know, on Saturday or whatever this was. He played 29 minutes. He put up like 23 shots.
Yeah.
He was 16 for 23. He was shooting 700%. He shot 696 last night or on Saturday and 800 from 3. That is never going to happen for Cam Thomas. You know, he's going to have nights like this, but 44 points on 29 minutes does not scream usage rate. That screams shots. He is getting them up. And he was 8 for 9 from the free throw line, which means he's also driving as well as shooting. I love the upside for Cam Thomas, especially because he's going to be a guy in Brooklyn that's going to get buckets. But I think when Kevin Durant comes back, his usage rate is going to come down. So just be careful. Don't buy into the 44-point night. Buy into the fact that this guy went from getting 2 minutes 2 weeks ago to 29 minutes on Saturday. I think that's the stat that we need to be looking at. Not the 44 points screams at you. But I think the point here that I want to make is he went from 0 minutes on January 25th, 2 minutes on January 26th, 13 minutes January 28th, to 29 minutes on Saturday, which is, I mean, honestly, that's the full game, basically. That is really where, like, I think, okay, let's see, well, like Jokic and Embiid are playing like 38 a night or something like that. Let's see. Last night, Embiid played 36 minutes. You know, so like the superstars are in the high 30s. The stars are in the high 20s. You know, so he's getting star type minutes with them out. Now they're going to come back and he might drop, especially with Spencer Dinwiddie. He's going to probably rest in that 23-minute range, I would assume. But last week he got 23 minutes, shot 400% from the field, shot 167 from 3, which is bad, and still put up 19 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. You know, so I think there's a positive outlook on Cam Thomas from a strategic standpoint. Now, you guys just entered Kendall's basketball coach brain. There it is. You know,
yeah.
I think there's good projectables still is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I was thinking the same thing, and I would break it down like this. Now could be a good time to sell Cam Thomas if you bought in at the price point that I've been telling you to buy in at, because you're going to crystallize a huge profit.
Yeah.
But to Kendall's point,
shout out to Paul.
Thank you. Historically correct on that one. Go back, listen.
The other Paul for crystallizing.
Yeah. Shout out to Paul Fisher for the crystallizing. Anyway, and I accept the inadvertent shout out that you didn't mean to me, but I gave it to myself. And there could be some struggles for Cam Thomas coming up because Spencer Dinwiddie used to play in Brooklyn. So he's coming back actually, I think, to minutes here. Like, I got all excited about the trade at first. I was like, oh, Kyrie's gone. Here comes Cam Thomas. And then I was like, well, actually what happens in the NBA is that they're going to hand over these minutes to the veteran, and Cam's going to come off the bench the rest of the year. He's going to be like the microwave coming off the bench, getting all of us excited in the sports card world. Probably going to be some more buying pockets on Cam throughout the next, throughout the rest of the season and into the offseason. I think actually August is going to be an amazing time to buy Cam Thomas cards. I would say if you want to just if you want to avoid Cam Thomas until August, that could be a great play. If you own him now, sell him like literally today and then buy back in later this year. Or just hold him, whatever. Anyway, and he's going to be a guy he's on, not only is he on the radar now, but he's like a guy now, I think. And I think that's the reason why we're talking about him so much. Quick.
And I don't want to mention that I think that Spencer Dinwiddie and Cam Thomas can play on the floor at the same time. You know, Spencer can take the 1 and Cam can play the 2. I think that's likely going to happen. They're not going to just forget about Cam Thomas. They made this trade knowing that they have Cam Thomas. But Spencer Dinwiddie, his last couple of weeks for the Mavs have been electric. He's shooting 400 to 500% from the field over the last, year or so, and he's averaging 17.7 points a night. So him coming back and having his best season in Brooklyn, coming back to Brooklyn, Dinwiddie came on the map in Brooklyn, and that's what got him a trade. So he's coming back to a vacant role. And once Kevin Durant comes back, honestly, this team might have gotten better because of the depth that they received. Finney Smith is also very good. There's a legit possibility you could have on this floor, you could have Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas, Finney Smith Jr., Durant, and then Claxton. That could legit be a 5 that's rolling out, and that's a dangerous 5 for Brooklyn.
Yep. Great stuff. All right, let's go through the comments here because we've got a lot of action.
We do have a lot of
people joining the live stream. Frankie Goodman. Good luck at the London Card Show. Good to see you on the show.
Good luck, my man.
Frankie was on the show. He's a great guy. He's got a grading company, digital card grading. Check that out. And good luck at the London Card Show. He's learned a lot about baseball from Kendall, from being on the show. So keep us updated on how things go, Frankie. Michael Rook is a new name. I think I'm saying that correctly, Michael. He says, I pulled a Don Russ 18 out of 19 rookie. Oh, no. This is not an 18 out of 19. This is a Don Russ 18-19 year.
Yeah.
Vinicius Jr. green parallel last night. Do you think I should grade and hold for the long run or get rid of it straight? I would grade and hold for the long run because I think you have time on this. If you think, Michael, that it's going to grade a 10, that it has it. This is how I think of grading. Let me back up. Research the sales on eBay and 130 point on both a 9 and a 10 in PSA of this card. So you pulled this, so it's hard to really say what you paid for the card, but I'm going to tell you that if you can afford, if you are okay with receiving the average price of a 9 back, then I would grade this card because then you're mitigating your risk. So then you have the upside of a 10 with the downside of a 9. And if you're okay with that, I would definitely grade the card. That's how I look at these situations. If I buy the card raw and not pull it, it's easier for me to do the analysis on it because then I can say, this is the amount that you paid for the card. This is the amount that the grading fee costs. And then this is what a 9 would sell for, and this is what a 10 would sell for. And I would tell you that if you break even on a 9, I would do it. And if you don't get totally crushed on an 8, then I would definitely do it. And and there's always upside in the 10. Chad Gill says, one of my 6 PSA orders just popped this morning. I bought a Cade Cunningham PSA 10, and the guy sent me an F1 card. A guy sent me an F1 card, a checkerboard Lewis Hamilton card, and it got a 10 also. That's phenomenal. Congratulations on that, Chad. And Ryan's making a couple more great points about the Nets and Jock Vaughn and Cam Thomas. Shout out Jonathan Rigsby, better late than never. Good morning to you as well. VJ Patel on the show. VJ is helping me with nooffseason.com right now. So VJ, good to see you on the show, running Card Collector on Instagram. And he's in the UK with Frankie, so they're talking. All right, back to the content on the show here. What is up next? Up next is sell, right? So who are we selling? And we skipped Kendall's buy, so we can come back to that.
It's okay. I've got so jacked up about Cam Thomas that I was just like, we were just on one
Yeah,
for a
and
second.
that's totally acceptable.
Uh,
Why don't you do your buy, Kendall? Go ahead.
yeah, I think this is okay. Let me see. I have so many prospects that you could potentially be like. There's a small buying window on some guys right now, and a big sell window for a lot of guys. But I think there is some opportunity. I love the Mbappe play. I think there's a huge opportunity to sell LeBron this week. That we're just gonna just put that there. I think it's obvious. But I think the situation around card collecting right now and like what to do with Luka is very interesting. Like, I think all the videos that I've seen that are the videos you talked about earlier, where you're talking about how the card market is in the tank and blah, blah, blah. There's not as much money. People commonly talk about the Luka cards as cards that have been destroyed in value for a guy that's not been hurt, for a guy that's a team that's probably going to make the playoffs, so all the projectables for Luka's cards are there. But his value is just like 1/4 of what it used to be. And so a lot of people are playing into that. I think people are waking up to the fact that Luka is just what Luka is. There are some people that love him. Like, there are some people that are like, he is the best ever. Like, I've literally heard people say this. When I watch him, I'm like, I think this body screams like, I don't play a point guard. Like, I watch him and I'm like, I don't understand how this guy's good, but he is. I can say that he is good, but I don't understand it. My brain doesn't make it make sense.
He just slows the game down too much for me. It's just boring watching him play personally.
Yeah. But I also think Kyrie going there. Awesome. I don't think he will ever win a championship in Dallas. I think that, however it goes, if he doesn't win in Dallas, I think there's a legit possibility he goes to Denver to be with Jokic. I think that would be super interesting. So I think because his market is so tanked, I think Luka could be a buy. Not right now because of basketball season, but I just want to keep our audience aware that Luka's money has gone down. I think from its peak, I think it's down like 190% or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's money that people like to spend on Luka that's out there in the realm of Luka hype. And I think we could get back there at some point. So that's a guy that I'm just willing to watch, not willing to buy, but I'm going to use this Kendall's buy it now to just talk about Luka's potential long-term could be a guy that's entering onto my watch radar. Radar, not radar.
It's a good point. I have Luka. I think it depends on when you bought Luka too and what you bought of his. Because if you bought like a massive banger in like 2021, then you've just gotten smoked, and you're sitting there like hoping for an NBA title in the next 3 years for you to get your money back and maybe make a little bit of profit. But if you bought Luka, in 2022 and you paid a reasonable amount for him, then now could be an okay time to sell him with the Kyrie trade hype. Also, you could wait till the playoffs, because I think that Luka's value will continue to rise in the 2023 hype cycle of the playoffs. It's a tricky one though. I've got him as a sell right now on nooffseason.com just for right now.
I would sell him right now
for the members off of the trade hype with Kyrie, because and the all-star hype cycle, because you just don't always get these times. And now is a moment. So, okay. That was your segment for buy is the Luka talk. Okay. So cool. My sell of the week is, I got two guys. One is Kyrie. I removed Kyrie from my sports card investment report rankings like several months ago, just because I just am tired of him. He's a great player. And I don't I'm not saying that everything that's happened to him in the world is fair or equitable back given what he's done, but I just know that the results are the results. I'm not trying to be political at all. I'm just saying the Kyrie's market in terms of what it could have been is smaller. And I removed him from the basketball card rankings a few months ago just because I just don't want people buying. Not that I don't want that came out wrong. It's not that I don't want people buying his cards because of who he is. It's I don't think buying into his cards is going to be a good investment. Thus, I don't want people buying his cards. And so I removed him from the rankings. I think now is the time you sell Kyrie. A trade is, look at this objectively. A trade is always a time to sell someone immediately, always in any sport. It's always a time to sell because you have this new market that the athlete is coming into. And so as much as people who are holding Kyrie or hype about Kyrie now going to Dallas, I get it, but it's not an objective move to make to hold his card, sell his card. He's up right now for the first time in a long time. The other guy to sell is Tom Brady. Just looking at his card sales on nooffseason.com in the sports card investment report, not only does the data sort of lean towards not much happening with Tom Brady's cards for a while, but as you project out into the future, there aren't any other markers for Tom Brady moving forward. And let's just play this out for like a couple quick minutes here. First of all, let's say he does come back. Okay, that's already happened. So it's not like a new thing anymore. It's a tired old ass thing if he comes back. He needs to stay retired, first of all. If he does come back, I don't think it's a huge marker. He has to. The only thing that could move Tom Brady's cards up right now is if he actually comes back and wins another Super Bowl, which is so unlikely because we've already seen now the last 2 years that hasn't happened. And so selling off of the retirement news, I think is the best thing you could do with Tom Brady's cards right now, unless you're literally going to hold him for the rest of your life and pass down his cards to your family members. Because even the Hall of Fame announcement, like that's not coming for another several years, first of all. And secondly, like we already know he's a Hall of Famer. That's already baked into his pricing. So I'm not saying that his cards might not go up a little bit with the Hall of Fame induction ceremony when he's in that news cycle again, but they will have gone down so much between now and then that I just think it makes sense to sell his cards now. So, anyway, I think Tom Brady, that's definitely like, I don't need to keep going on and on about Tom Brady, but, that's my sell. And over to you, Lefty, for your sell.
Yeah, I think Tom Brady's a great sell right now. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better for Tom Brady's market. As we know, this is an attention marketplace, and there's not a whole lot of attention that's going to be on Brady over the next year. He will get that deal that he has, I think, with CBS or something. Well, he already had a deal on the table with either ESPN or CBS or something with a big contract behind it for analyst work, and he'll get that. But I don't.
Do we even want to see that? I don't even want to.
I don't. But what I'm gonna say about that is, I think it's not gonna be as good as people. He's not gonna be Manning. He never has been Manning with how likable he is. He's not gonna be Romo with how just exuberant
Goofy.
and stuff goofy he is. He's going to be Tom Brady, very analytical, very quiet, very stoic. And I don't think it's going to be good for TV.
It's going to suck.
Yeah, I don't think it is. So I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be great in that aspect. So I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think now I'm really happy with my Brady. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
But I'm not going out and buying a Brady, not even close, and so it's just like, I feel for guys that are like Andy from Football Cards Market that love Tom Brady. Like I'm just like I think it's going to get worse before it gets better for him. But my sell of the week, and this is a fun one because it's a guy that we've talked about quite a bit, Malik Tillman. I think it's sell season for Malik Tillman. He just received the best 11 honors for Scottish football for this month, or maybe week or month in the Scottish Premier League. He has been doing very, very well. He scored on like probably 3 or 4 occasions. So as of 15 minutes ago, Malik Tillman has been named the SofaScore Scottish Premier League Team of the Week with a 7.8, and he is listed as a striker on this Team of the Week. I think this is a guy that he is coming into his own. It's fun to watch him in the United States men's national team, but it's a sell season. I have a Cam Thomas. We're back to Cam Thomas.
He is the Cam Thomas of soccer.
Yeah. Malik Tillman, I have had a Malik Tillman auto that's up on eBay for about a year, and I've been doing the Dutch auction part where it was like, I just listed it super high. Now I've been listing it back down. I got an offer this week, actually. I did not accept it because it was it was embarrassingly low. But the fact is, somebody's looking at his cards again.
Action counts.
Action counts. I think Malik Tillman could be a good sell opportunity if you followed us. I think there is some good hype coming to the end of his Scottish Premier League season with him playing pretty well on the Rangers this year. And I think Vinny Jr. Don't sell Vinny Jr. He's having a bad club season. But I just wanted to mention this again. Soccer idiot. Before I ever exit this show, Everton beating Arsenal this week. This was huge for us. It was huge. We are last in the Premier League. We change our coach. We have a new guy come in. You got that fresh coach magic. The president and the board don't even come to the games because they're scared of being beaten up because of how they've crushed this team's fan base. And we get a win against the best team in the Premier League, 1-0. I was buzzing. The Toffees were singing. The boys in blue having 3 points was huge. There you go,
That's
Soccer
awesome.
Idiot. I knew you were wanting that. Southern
Soccer Idiot. Love when you get Kendall fired up. It's one of my favorite little quiet moments of the show. And VJ Patel and Southern Soccer Idiot talking about Vinny Jr. in the comments. VJ wondering, is it time to buy Vinny Jr. because we're talking about him not having
a bad opportunity, man. He did not have a great World Cup.
Yeah.
He did not have
idea.
a great season for Real Madrid.
Yep.
Or he's not having I literally was watching Real Madrid this week. They lost 1-0, that crushed me. Because I was watching Vinny Jr. play and I'm like, this guy should be destroying this team. The opposition he should be destroying. He tried for like a rainbow and some other stuff. And I'm like, Vinny, you're doing too much right now, my friend. Yeah. Like, just be Vinny Jr. Let your class beat the other team. Don't try to get cute with it. I think Neymar did that for a while. He tried to get too cute, and then he was just like, you know what? I'm better than everybody else on this field. And I think that if Vinny Jr. gets there, sky's the limit.
For sure. So another soccer card that I need to share. Get it in the view there.
Jeremy Pino
auto came back a 9.
That's a nice card.
21, 22 Merlin Chrome auto looks good. Paid like next to nothing for the card. I'm basically like, I want to say I'm like $20 into this card, even with the grading fee. Quick PSA reveal. Cade Cunningham, Prism 9. Got a bunch of these in here. Unfortunate on the 9. Zaire Williams was a guy that I really like. He's kind of like my Cam Thomas of this wave. Got a bunch of 9s. I did get, so out of 12 cards, I'll just shorten this. Out of 12 cards, I got 110. The rest 9s, except for, so a bunch of Cade Cunninghams. Caden Clark 9. Pink X-Fractor. Hopefully that'll be worth something someday. I did get, so this is the 10. This is a Cade Optic, Donruss Optic Target box set, got a 10. This Cade Hollow Orange Laser got a 9.
Is that the one you bought at the England card show?
No, that one. And Frankie, if you're still on, I apologize. I did crack your slabs and send them to PSA. That was a red Pulsar that went to PSA. Still waiting on the grade for that. So I'll definitely be reporting back on that. Okay, Cade Silver Prism got a 9. I graded 2 Cade Silver Prisms. And you guys aren't going to be able to tell the difference on the show. But I'm telling you, one got a 6 and one got a 9. And I can't really tell the difference between the 6 and the 9 when I look at them.
Can you put them back up?
Here's the 6.
Okay.
Here's the 9.
I first see that it's off center, up, down.
The 6. Oh, you're right. Holy cow. It is big time. Big time off center, up, down. Other than that, it's like a 10.
Yeah, it looks great though. Other than that,
freaking 6 for this. What's your guys' experience with that? I'm shocked that they would grade it a 6 for the off center, up, down like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
What do I know? I just host a sports card podcast.
I mean, I got a 3 on a Brady that I thought was pretty sick. So it's whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, all 12 cards, 10 9s, 1 10, and a 6.
Here's a PSA reveal from this week that I'm pretty excited about.
Go for it.
Trinity Rodman Purple Chrome PSA 10.
Love that.
This card is super cool. She's going to be a U.S. women's national team player for the future. I am really excited about Trinity Rodman.
I'm actually jealous of that card.
That's a really low pop count card, actually. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I got a Gaga Slanina 10 as well, who's going to be the U.S. men's national team keeper. Got him a 10 in an extremely low pop count as well. I think there's 12 of those, I think, which is really cool. And then I got a Pop 1. I have a Pop 1 PSA 10. Now, it's not a super big card, and that's the problem, that it's a Pop 1. But I got a Thierry Henry 2013 Thierry Henry Red Bulls card that I love this card. And it's Pop 1 PSA 10.
That's awesome.
That's
congratulations.
Cool.
I'm just happy that you got your submission back, because that's
too,
forever.
I got a freaking Pedri 10 in here.
Pedri 10's nice. Soccer Idiot says he loves Jeremy Pino.
Yeah.
Going to be doing some fantastic stuff in the national team in Spain in the future alongside Gavi and Pedri.
Agreed.
Who are guys that I've talked about nonstop. I've got 4 Gavis.
I think that was my first compliment I ever got from Southern Soccer Idiot. Was he was like, "Oh, you actually know who Jeremy Pino is?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Win of the week. Compliment from Southern Soccer Idiot.
Yeah, those are rare. Those are few and far between. So whenever SSI gives me a compliment, I got to take it.
Yeah. Yep. RPO is excited for the Women's World Cup this summer.
I am too. I am actually fixing to. I'm about to dive into a lot of talk about that. I think it's been. I want to get through baseball season. As soon as baseball season starts, I'm going to be talking about Rose Lavelle, Trinity Rodman, Alex Morgan. I mean, I've got them queued.
Let's go. And Sophia Smith, we talked about this on this episode, and I wrote an article for Sports Card Investor on this. So
I have a Sophia Smith rookie card.
Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman. Let's go. Future of USWNT.
USWNT.
It doesn't United roll States off the tongue as team. Easy, but it's legit. USWNT. Get used to saying it, everybody. All right, Kendall, do you have anything else you want to add for this episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show? I knew it was going to be a good one.
Yeah, I tried to hold off on the Everton talk until just now, and I just couldn't. I couldn't just hold off. My Toffees had a big week, my friend. The MLS is about to start. Baseball's about to start. The soccer season is getting into like a really cool moment. Basketball is coming down to the wire. Trade deadline this week. Bones Highland's going to get moved. I cannot wait to talk about Bones next week. I hope he goes to the Thunder. That would be awesome. I don't think he's going to go to the Thunder, but I want him to. I'm just excited about what the next 7 days have for us in the sports card market. Man, I'm probably going to sell I'm probably going to sell all these slabs this week. And that's going to make me really happy.
And also, like, okay, I'm glad you said what you said, because I've been talking about this guy a lot, right? Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Snubbed from the All-Star team, but I'm actually excited about that.
He's going to be grinding, my man.
Because the dude, there's no doubt that he is a perennial All-Star coming up, starting next season.
Yeah.
So this means actually that there's a longer buying window on this guy. So for the audience of this show, do your research first on your cards. Make sure you're buying the right cards. Email me if you have any questions, paul@nooffseason.com. And I'm going to help you, because I'm constantly researching Anthony Edwards cards. I just believe in him that much. And if you believe in me and my ability to predict basketball players like I did with Cam Thomas, listen to me on Anthony Edwards. He's the man. I might not be right on Cade Cunningham. I honestly, like, Cade is more of like an emotional play because he's a Piston.
Yeah.
Edwards is my objective. I have zero reason to like Anthony Edwards. He went to Georgia. He plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. When I watch him play basketball is when I'm like, okay, this guy, he's the man. Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for watching and listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show. We love you. Email me at paul@nooffseason.com. Whether or not you want to try a free year of the premium product, just email me anyway. Let me know how you think we're doing on the show. What can we improve? What do you like about the show? What specific questions do you have? Of course, you can hit me up on social media as well if you want. I'm not as good at replying on social as I am on email, but I'm at Sports Card Strategy on Instagram, at No Offseason Card on Twitter. He's Kendall McKee, at Lefty McKee everywhere, and he's representing Wild Cards Box Breaks, JustBaseball.com, and a little bit of NoOffseason.com, and of course the Sports Card Strategy Show. He is the rock on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Everybody, thanks so much for watching and listening. And Kendall, I think
cue that rock music, baby.